I would now like to continue the programming part of our evening by inviting Matthew Phillips to the stage. Matthew Phillips is an officer of the U Chicago FedSoc chapter, as well as this year's Story Award chair. So I'll hand it over to Matthew.
Good evening. It is truly an honor to be with all of you tonight, and it is my privilege to present the 2023 Joseph Story Award. The Story Award is given annually to a young academic who has demonstrated excellence in legal scholarship, a commitment to teaching, a concern for students, and who has made a significant public impact in a manner that advances the rule of law in a free society. Its namesake, Justice Story, was a prolific scholar, jurist, and public servant whose sharp legal mind and keen wit helped guide our nation through her early years. I can hardly think of a scholar today who better emulates Justice Story's remarkable career than this year's Story Award recipient, Professor Jennifer Mascott. Professor Mascott is an assistant professor of law and co-executive director of the C. Boyden Gray Center for the Study of the Administrative State at the Antonin Scalia Law School at George Mason University. Her impressive scholarly work focuses on administrative law, constitutional law, and separation of powers. Her articles have appeared in the Stanford Law Review, the Supreme Court Review, the Cato Supreme Court Review, and the Harvard Journal of Law and Public Policy, among others. She is also the co-author of Administrative Law, Cases and Materials for the 2022 Annual Supplement, and the upcoming 9th edition of the Bierman, Cass, Diver, Freeman Casebook. Additionally, she is a permanent contributor at the Yale Journal of Regulation's Notice and Comment blog, and provides regular commentary and frequently publishes in the national media. Professor Mascott's best-known scholarly contribution is her work on the separation of powers. Her most cited article, Who Are Officers of the United States, is an originalist tour de force, combining careful use of corpus linguistics and detailed analysis of early appointment practices to uncover the original meaning of our constitutional design. This seminal work helped reshape the debate around Article II accountability. And for this reason, it has been cited on many occasions by the United States Supreme Court, federal appellate courts of appeals, and federal district courts. It was also one of the first law review articles to grapple seriously with linguistic corpora and examine their application to a discrete issue, thus demonstrating that she is a true intellectual trailblazer. Meanwhile, Professor Mascott's other scholarship focuses on equally important structural constitutional issues, such as agency adjudication, non-delegation, and deference in interpretation. In an era where many are reconsidering the role of the administrative state in our constitutional system, Professor Mascott stands at the forefront of the national debate and is a stalwart defender of the rule of law. Beyond her academic work, Professor Mascott has also exhibited incredible thought leadership within the legal profession and beyond. As co-executive director of the Gray Center, she developed the Article I venture, which provides educational seminar for U.S. Senate and House policy and legal staff on structural constitutional doctrines. She is a public member of the Administrative Conference of the United States, vice chair of the Constitutional Law and Separation of Powers Committee within the ABA's section of Administrative Law and Regulatory Practice, an executive committee member of the Separation of Powers Practice Group at the Federalist Society. She has also testified before both chambers of the U.S. Congress on constitutional issues, and has appeared during confirmation hearings for 2 U.S. Supreme Court justices. As of January 2023, she is serving as a Campbell Visiting Fellow at the Hoover Institution at Stanford University. Professor Mascott is not only a leading scholar, but also a tireless public servant. In 2019, she took a leave of absence to serve as Deputy Assistant Attorney General for the Office of Legal Counsel, and was then appointed as Associate Deputy Attorney General, serving in both roles from November 2020 to January 2021. During this time, she argued cases before federal appellate and trial courts. Professor Mascott stands out even among the recipients of this award for her willingness to put her incredible mind and talents into action. And for her service to our nation, we owe her a great debt of gratitude. Finally, but most importantly, Professor Mascott is a dedicated teacher and mentor to her students. While at Scalia Law, she has served as the faculty director for the law school's Supreme Court and administrative law clinics, and founded the Separation of Powers Clinic in spring 2022. She has also co-taught 2 classes with 2 Supreme Court justices and the former head of OLC, affording students the unique opportunity to interact with these public figures in an intimate setting. Unsurprisingly, she is beloved and greatly admired by her students. Professor Mascott, they say, works tirelessly to serve their Federalist Society chapter and is always available to meet with students in one-on-one settings. They describe her as, quote, a fantastic instructor and wonderful person who models a commitment to family and takes genuine joy in her profession. Professor Mascott's selfless devotion to her students is a laudable example that all should strive to emulate. Before presenting this award, we also want to take a moment to honor the memory of Professor Mascott's late husband, Jeff Mascott, who passed away on Tuesday after battling advanced pancreatic cancer. Jeff was a passionate entrepreneur who developed innovative communication strategies for public and private entities. He was also a man of faith, a beloved husband, and father to 4 children. He will be deeply missed by his family and his friends. Please join me in a moment of silence in honor of Jeff. Thank you. I am now honored to present the 2023 Joseph Story Award to Professor Jennifer Mascott.
Good evening. It's so great to be here with all of you, and I'm really grateful for this generous honor. It goes without saying I'm very humbled to be here, given the legacy of the past recipients of this award, with distinguished records of deep and influential writing, insightful teaching, and impactful service. And I will spend my academic career working to write and teach and serve consistent with this gift. As Matthew mentioned, receipt of this award is coming at a tragic and difficult time for me and my 4 children. But in many ways, the Story Award at this time also provides the chance to reflect on deep-seated values of family, sacrifice, and faith that are important to this community and to the development and flourishing of personal excellence and character in the practice of law. Because we can be better lawyers and professors and scholars the more focused we are on the search for truth, and the more faithful we are to family, to personal community, and to a commitment to a set of ideals and principles higher than ourselves and beyond any individual ambition. Tonight, in reflecting on the Story Award, I first want to thank and remember my husband, Jeff, who provided so well for me and our children, and whose enthusiasm for excellence was infectious. He helped to instill in our children a passion for wrestling with ideas and a courage to seek the truth. And his hard work and time taking our family on many varied adventures facilitated opportunities for me to enjoy government service at the Department of Justice, to join many law school symposia, conferences, and Federalist Society chapter events around the country, and to take a lengthy period of time in our basement as a Georgetown Olin Searle Fellow when I researched the original meaning of officers of the United States. Also, a very deep and rich thank you to my in-laws, Jeff's parents, Tom and Jenny, who are wonderfully generous and kind and spend so much time with each of our children. Then within the legal community, many mentors have provided encouragement and a model of excellence for scholarship and service and family-oriented values along the way. Professors when I was a student like Brad Clark, Greg Maggs, Amanda Tyler, John Duffy, and Judge Dick Leon, who both taught about the law, but also, for example, went to great lengths to help me find an appellate clerkship close to DC, where our family was situated at the time with the public sector-related businesses that Jeff had started. And then later, Dean Bill Traynor, Larry Solem, and Randy Burnett at Georgetown, who provided the wonderful forum of Georgetown Law as an incubator for my Article II research, along with Professor Robin West, who led a collegial weekly discussion group for fellows, and taught us all a great deal about how to present scholarship and gently but incisively critique each other's work. Earlier, during clerkship years, Judge Kavanaugh and Justice Thomas made their chambers a welcome place for expectant and new moms trying to juggle work and family, and the community that they maintain among their clerks proved critical over 8 years away from full-time work when my 4 children were very young. Perhaps most touching, however, are the personal acts of generosity and sacrifice from which my scholarship and practice have benefited over the years. The kinds of gestures that could not ever be replicated by any generic program or government or impersonal man-made institutions. Acts like those of my Thomas co-clerk, Will Consovoy, also tragically recently taken by cancer, who one week took over all my cert pool work in the Thomas chambers so I could spend extra time at home with my sick 1-year-old daughter Avery, and who then later provided an on-ramp onto the Scalia Law faculty by hiring me as his firm's Supreme Court student clinic director and sponsoring my bar passage many years after law school graduation. And then individuals more recently like then Dean Henry Butler, Dean Ken Randall, and academic deans Helen Alvarez and previously Rochelle Perkins, who have enabled the Scalia Law School to be a place where ideas can flourish and free debate can be pursued. In addition to the outstanding legal legacy of Justice Joseph Story, the namesake of this award, Justice Story himself had a life filled with family and also early loss. Eventually having 7 children, but facing the passing of his wife and father within months of each other at a relatively early age, while nonetheless managing to be one of the most prolific legal scholars and writers of his time. In honor of Justice Story's legacy of excellence and the memory of my husband, Jeff, thank you to the Federalist Society for this award and for the encouragement to continue to work hard to help students in the legal community pursue truth and open debate, and to remain dedicated to values and ideals that are greater than ourselves. Thank you so much.